Peace and light. A happy Saturday, everybody. Um, Inspired conversations. I'm learning for myself at this point what moves me. I'm not, I'm interested in a relationship, but I'm certainly not eager for one. I met this brother, very attractive, clearly financially well off. But I don't know that he noticed initially that I noticed that he was wearing a wedding ring. And I started to ask him about his wife. And he said, I'm going to refer to her loosely. It was something to that respect or aspect or whatever. And he said, because we're in the process of a separation. And he went through his spiel. And I have no interest in dating any man who is fresh out of a marriage, kind of in a marriage, a little in a marriage, or even a committed relationship for that part. I mean, it doesn't serve me to do anything like that. What would I do? And, throughout our conversation, I just kept trying to ask him, what about his wife? And of course, he's so perfect. He's a great father, great husband, great this, great that. And, I'm like, well, maybe it's this. Did you get counseling? Prayer, whatever. Yeah, all of that. And she just doesn't want it. And And I'm in Atlanta. And I know I'll find somebody. I'm basically rich. And I got this going. And I've got that going. And, I keep trying to tell her she gonna have to, because, I'm the shit. So I know I'm gonna find somebody. I'm like, so after he realized that I really wasn't picking up what he was putting down, I guess, he was like, yeah, because I know it's not the sex. I mean, sex till you go to sleep. Yep, it was over at that point. I do not want to hear about a sex life from a married man. That is not a turn on. Nothing about it is a turn on. One thing I've learned that does not move me is money. It doesn't matter to me how much money you have. I don't know why it doesn't. Maybe because I've known some of the worst people to have a lot of money, and it's especially men. And I'm sad to say that. I wish it wasn't like that. But in fact, the more money they've had, the worst kind of person they've been, from the rooter to the tutor. I mean, they've been, just bad. I said that to say, in finding out what does and doesn't move me, I found out what does move me is spirit. If I'm moved by a person's spirit, not necessarily their spirituality, simply their spirit, whether it's bright, whether it could even be gloomy, but in that gloom, you can see light. You can hear happiness and joy. Everybody has a moment. But I could never, ever betray my sister, on top of the fact that his wife was a black woman. And I remember everything he kept saying, and I was trying to, give possible explanations. I was like, oh my God, just let me defend my sister for a minute. Oh my God, it's not all her. Like, what? Every time I see a black woman, I see myself. Every time I hear of a black woman, I hear about myself. I could never, ever dip my toes in another black woman's pond, in another woman's pond anyway. But it's not what's mine will not pass me by. I have no desire to try to play in somebody else's pool. I just don't. So money does not move me. And I think I've finally figured that part out, because that's been the key presentation that I've gotten lately. And, thank you. I'm certainly not complaining. I just the married thing, or that was a absolutely no. That was a hell no. Just ridiculous. Seriously. And it was it's India Shine. And it's a song, I think it's called Cali Love. And she talks about finding the true love in LA. At this point, I could put ATL on there. Because it is just, these men are just wild. And I stay to myself anyway. But my goodness. You have on a ring, homie, like right there. Just, fuck out of here. Anyway, y'all be well and stay well. Peace.